re-upping for 3 more years.
Make a motion that James Doyle be approved for reappointment to the EDGI board.
Second.
A motion from Cecil, a second from Richard, to reappoint James Doyle to the EDI board. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. Motion carried. Item number 3, discussion and consideration for first reading of ordinance 22-891 regarding the 2022 budget amendment.
Yes, sir, just like we do every year, we shoot for a budget, and sometimes we go over a little bit in different categories. Leslie, you want to explain a little bit more?
Well, the first item is a lease that we signed in 2020, and the first payment was coming due on October 15th of 21. And somehow, when we were working the budget, I missed getting that payment in the budget. It's something that was already approved and set up, but so I had to make an amendment to include that payment in the budget. And then the consultant fees hit us because the TCEQ had some new regulations regarding risk and emergency response. And I think it's really federally mandated, not just TCEQ.
Yeah, it all goes back to the big ice storm in February, where they were unprepared, and basically all this study did is tell you what we have, what we don't have, and what we needed, and how we will operate if that ever happens again. But you have to pay.
Have to pay $8,000 to get the consultants to put it together for you. So we had to make a budget amendment for that. Our end of the year budget is going to be over in almost every department on electricity and gasoline and things like that. But we've not spent money in other areas to where I didn't feel like a budget amendment was necessary because we're not over budget in some of the other areas. So instead of making, it'd be 20 amendments probably to change all of them, I just felt like that when the auditors look at that, they'll know that electricity and gas were 2 things you just could not really account for, and I don't think they'll have a problem with it.
Okay. Anybody have any other questions? All makes sense. Did a good job with the details down the bottom of that, but thank you. Anything motion?
Pass ordinance 22-891. First reading, is that this?
Yes.
Yes.
Second.
A motion from Richard and a second from Zach to approve the first reading of ordinance 22-891. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. Motion carried. Item number 4, discussion and consideration of the 2023 Eastland Historic Preservation Board grant application. Actually 2 of those.
Yes.
Yes.
Terry?
Yes, sir. At the last meeting, the Historic Preservation Board receives grant applications from the First Baptist Church to replace a door, refinish doors, and refinish the windows in what is known as the Prairie Oil and Gas Company building. A lot of people know it as the Old Baptist Church Education Building, corner of Plummer and Seaman. The total project is $22,750, and the board approved a 50-50 match up to $11,375. And they would like to recommend that grant at this time for the First Baptist Church project.
That's where they have the open.
Yeah,
what is it? Open-
the
not-
Closet Angels.
Closet Angels, yeah.
Yes.
Open door system.
Do you want to do both of them at the same time? Okay. And then they also approved a grant to the Eastland Fine Arts for replacement of 6 emergency exit doors at the Majestic Theater that were originally installed in the 1940s. Total cost of that project is $22,673. The board approved a 50% match up to $11,336.50. at this time would leave a balance of $12,288.50 in the 2023 budget. For any overages that might happen with these two, then would come back to the commission to be approved. And then, once these two projects are completed, if that money is still there, we'll come up with somewhere else to use the money. Maybe help the church with some more work on that building.
I have a question. We're approving the replacement of the emergency doors at the Majestic Field. And it's my understanding from reading this that we will only give them money after the project is finished and after we have inspected it. Do they have enough money to get the project done with us doing it that way?
They say they do, but they agreed to these terms. That is made known up front that this is basically a reimbursement after you have satisfied all these conditions. And they were okay with that.
I just wasn't aware if they had sufficient funds to do.
They do, and that's in all the information when they pick up grant packets, anybody that picks it up. They understand that it's a reimbursement at the end of the project.
Yes, they were good with that.
I move we accept the Historic Preservation Board grant applications for both the Majestic Theater and First Baptist Church.
Second from Stevens to approve the George Board Preservation application to the Fine Arts and First Baptist Church for their project. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, sign. Motion carries. All right. City manager briefing.
We had that public hearing on the home buyout on the 23rd. It was attended pretty well. We had 4 or 5 different homeowners, either by Zoom or in person. Multiple properties were representative. I talked to Justin down with Blankford's office. They've already received 2 applications. One of the applicants has multiple properties that he's looking to sell. So it was very well received, and I hope they take advantage of it. And there were a couple people who actually called this week to ask more questions. So they're
Is
kind
he
of
selling all of his? I think he's got 4. Is he selling all 4? Is that right? And he is gonna try to sell all 4.
That's they said that yeah, you turn in applications on all of them.
I'm just curious what they use.
Are those residential?
Yes, they are only residential properties. That's
Is
all.
the application period still open?
Yes, yes, for about a month, and then it'll close down, I think.
It's
90
60 days.
90 days, we went 90 days on it. But I expect that there's possibly gonna be 2 more that'll be turned in the next 30 days on it, which will be good.
When you had that meeting, we were about 15 days into that window, which they'd already received information.
Yes. The FI study's still going on, and that kind of goes with the dam repairs. We have to do that archaeological dig between engineers, myself, and Langsford, that we have got the state to decrease the size of that, scope of that archae dig. Really, it's just gonna be a couple places on the dam now. They don't think they're gonna have to do the riverbed in the 37 spots that they said they were going to. But that's a good thing. We're still waiting for the state to sign off on that, but they've agreed in principle to that. Highway 6, are they getting close? They're finished? Good.
Did they get the electricity switch?
I don't know. I know they cleaned the ditch stuff and all the equipment's done.
The little traffic lights out there are still out this weekend.
They were flashing the other day.
On what?
I don't know if they're run on battery or what.
Really, that's about all I have. We're just trying to close out the year, taking it day by day right now. Any questions?
Okay, code compliant, thank you.
Commissioners, August started out with 23 open cases. Terry opened 29 new cases, closed 24 cases, and left us with 28 cases for the month of August. Out of those cases, there were 41 that were violations, separate violations that were open, and closed out 27 separate violations. For August, we had 2 junk vehicles. Total of 5 citations were sent out. 1 property was notified about back taxes. 4 annual notices were handed out. Fines assessed $3,339. We had 899 paid. Had $643 worth of fines that were dismissed. Now the total of fines there was a mess up on the table. It had accidentally added in the fines that were assessed for the month. The true total fines that were either paid or dismissed was $1,532. I got kind of excited there, and then I got to looking at the math and got with Terry about it. So we'll make sure that's taken care of for the next report. Out of the citations issued, you can see there, 1 was a dangerous building with no utility account, basically an unsanitary building. 2 for tall weeds, 1 for trash or debris, that was dismissed, and had off-street parking, somebody parking in the front yard. Any questions about the table?
Any questions for Tony?
Tom kind of took on my thunder by, I was going to talk about Harbor Freight, send me an email, the Jay's remodel's moving forward, and Family, Dollar, but he got me.
What is Jay's remodel? Is he looking for the big trucks to come in?
Yes, so what he's doing is he's not looking to compete with Top Line. He's looking to service the other side of what's coming and going up and down the road. So they are installing new bathrooms, a couple showers. They're trying to also get people that are going to the lake or something, because they have huge coolers that they are putting in that thing. Adding a ton of parking for the big rigs to back up in. I think it's like 30 spots for them to park in down that backside, and then a new fuel bay, new kitchen area. They're putting a vent hood in, so they're totally remodeling the whole thing. So we're excited to see what they do.
Probably need to have some more employees, I would imagine.
Oh, I imagine that there's going to be more employees working there than what there were before. So we're just waiting to see what ends up happening. That part of it I didn't get a whole lot of knowledge about. They're just adding. More services are going to require more people. So.
Yeah.
But they going to be open 24 hours?
I believe so. Sure.
I can remember.
They're all fun?
That's it, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. Keep going.
Stop. I'm sorry, Mayor, I'm so distracted by the phone going on.
You're easily distracted.
Yeah, I brought future Chief Tim Pitts here so he can see what these meetings were all about. And we had a chance to visit this before we came here, and about to report about some other stuff, but I look forward to working with Tim the next couple of months and getting him up to speed on what's going on, and I think he'll do a great job. This month, or for August, was our second highest month for calls for service, with 286. The other call was in May, which is a hot month for calls, pardon the pun. We wound up with 209 business checks, which for you guys that are businessmen, this is our all-time high. It gives us 1,386 business checks for the year. But since we've gone this CAD system, we feel like we're grabbing better stats, and we're fixing to go through some training September 28th on the new eForce, where our mobile units will be connected to the CAD system the dispatch has, and that should streamline the process quite a bit. I still think we're, even because everybody's kind of using different reporting systems, and this kind of unifies everybody in the county as far as everybody's going to be speaking apples to apples and oranges to oranges. We had 2 juvenile cases. The citations are going good. I was telling Tim, one of the things I pointed out was our end of the year stuff. We're running almost 5-1 on warnings versus citations. Our ACO still knocking it out of the park. I mean, she wrote 14. We had 14 arrests with 27 violations. So we put 14 individuals in jail that had 27 violations on them. So that's almost 2 warrants or 2 different charges per person. And our narcotics case, and I had to give a shout out to our new corporal Samuel Joyner for getting 14.5 ounces of meth. So for you folks that aren't familiar with how many grams are in an ounce, that's 28 times 14.5 is over 500 grams of meth that have been removed from the street, and he's just doing an outstanding job all the way around. We look forward to. And next month, you'll be getting another report of the stuff that he's done since the beginning of the month. He's just been knocking it out. And I did a short news release for 2 of those cases that we wound up doing. So I'll entertain questions.
Good. Very good. Any questions, Chief Bum? Questions for Chief Phil?
Yeah, happy to have you. Glad to have you, Mark.
Fire Department, Deputy Chief Sam Williams. Welcome, Sam, glad to be here.
Mr. Mayor, Commissioners, I'll be filling in for Chief Williamson tonight. In your package you have his standard report. We're looking at August, not our busiest month of the year, with 61 calls for service. Brings our fiscal year total to 793 calls. By the end of September, we'll certainly be more than 800 calls for the fiscal year. Average calls per day, 2.37 for the year, 1.97 for the month of August. Our in-city limits incidence is 41, in the county 19, and we had 1 mutual aid incident for the month of August. Had our calls between 10 p.m. and 7 a.m. It's 7 of those. 2 structure fires for the month, 4 grass fires, 1 vehicle fire, 23 medical assists, 8 motor vehicle accidents, 5 public assists, and 17 false alarms. Our membership continues to grow with 2 new members for the month of August. I'm not quite sure there on the bottom. We've got a 27 and then a 25 plus 4. I think we lost one of our members. So we have 27 or 28 or 29 members at this point. I didn't double check that. We did have one of our newest members. I think he's been in right at about a year. Just completed Fire Academy and passed his test and going on to into his EMT studies. That's a program with that Fire Academy that the fire department pays for, and then we're reimbursed by 2604 grant. So that's a program that we have some others in. I think 3 enrolled right now. Go through that. We'll be having an open house again this year on October the 8th. It's where we invite the public down. They get to touch some of the things we do, spray a fire nozzle, try on gear, just lift the station over. Most of our communication equipment that we are obtaining through our ARPA funds from the county are in. We're scheduled to be installed sometime in the battalion sometime in early October. We had our volunteer elections 2 weeks ago. We continue to be excited about the future of the Eastland Fire Department. And the Eastland Fire Department membership continues to rise to the challenges ahead.
Have we had a discussion or been a decision made about this number we have for number of volunteers you can have? That's been a discussion. Have we done anything with that?
Yeah, me and Joe talked about that it's probably been close to a month ago, we talked about it, and I told him, neither one of us could really find a reason where it was. I told him to keep it at a manageable number where he felt as though he could safely operate and, well, have the PPE that they needed to be safe in the
So
fire. Go ahead, Sam.
I did visit with ex-chief Philip Arthur about that and why that was set at 25, and it is in our bylaws, and we're taking steps to modify that. But that, Philip indicated that was simply a number that was set relative to PPE and such things as that. 25 is probably a pretty good number, and on an ongoing basis, but, you know, related to some of the conversations we've had recently to our gap in membership, it's really, we hate to turn anybody down who's wanting to help us, because we might, you know, get that person that's gonna hang around and really be a member here. To some of these others, we hope we are able to keep a lot of these, but we never keep them all. So hate to shut that number off and then that special person come along that we say no to. So for sure, right now, we're trying to have a little bit of flexibility in that number.
What time is your open house, 28?
I think we're doing it like 9 a.m. I know we'll have a breakfast, and then it'll continue on into the day. But we'll be up around the fire station by 7:30 or so, fixing some eggs and different things. But I think we actually open to the public at 9, I believe.
It's a Saturday, isn't it?
I believe so, yes, sir.
Okay. There's only a direct cost to the city, I believe, on volunteers, is workers' comp, is that correct? Yes.
We also carry them on our
Harry,
Airy Bag and
Care
CarePoint
Okay.
insurance. I mean, it's just a bonus for them.
That's a good idea.
It's like the same as we do for the commissioners. We carry all if you want.
It was at one time, but Sam and Joe done a good job of taking, the state has a couple grants and stuff like that, and they've got some new PPE through that. So
Yeah, we-
done tremendously.
Yes, sir. Yeah, we're expecting some more of that gear in soon. But, yeah, Joe's been doing a fine job of putting in those applications and getting funding. We just got 10 new sets of bunker boots, and we've got some bunker gear coming. So that's helping us out a lot for this new membership.
Good. Good. Anything else for Chief Williams? Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate you being here. Going to municipal court. Got a motion to adjourn. Second. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All the same time, motion carries. Thank you very much.